Hello guys, I gave an interview in a company called Neosoft Mumbai, and the interview date was the May 19, 2025. So they asked me what is the interface. So I said if we don't know anything about implementation, just we have requirement specification, then we should go for the interface. Inside interface, every method is always public and abstract whether we are declaring or not. Hence, interface is also considered as 100% pure abstract class. So inside the interface there are those methods are always public or abstract. Third, we can't declare interface method with following modifier, that is public, private, protected, abstract, final, static, synchronized, native, strict FP. Fourth, every variables present inside interface is always public, static and final whether we are declaring or not. So inside the interface methods are public and abstract and variables are public, static and final. So public is common in methods and variables. Okay. So we can't declare interface variable with the following modifiers, that is the private, protected, transient or volatile. For interface variable, compulsory we should perform initialization at the time of the declaration. Otherwise, we'll get the compile time error. So we have to initiate the variable. Seventh, inside interface, we can't declare instances and static blocks. Otherwise, we'll get compile time error. Eighth, inside interface, we can't declare constructors. Note 1. Since Java 8 interface can have default and static method also. Note 2. Abstract class can have final, non-final, static and non-static variables. Note 3. Serialization implementation is possible in interface using the maker interface. So they asked me, why do we need interface? And so I said, let us suppose we are defining a contract. So interfaces specify what method a class must implement, ensuring consistent behavior across different implementations. Another, enable loose coupling. Code depends on abstraction, that is interfaces, rather than concrete classes, making the system more flexible and easier to maintain or extend. Another, support multiple implementation. As we know that in PHP we can't use the multiple inheritance, okay, but we can use the multiple implementations. So different classes can implement the same interface in their own way, allowing easy swapping without changing client code. Fourth one is improve testability. Interfaces make it easier to create mock objects during testing, facilitating better test coverage and isolated tests. Enhance code organization and readability. They clearly design intentions and helps team follow consistent coding standards. So example to explain why interfaces are useful. Imagine you have a notification system. Instead of writing your code directly for email notification, you define an interface. So let's say you have interface notifier and you have public function send message. As we have already said that inside the interface there are the method which will be public or abstract. So then create multiple classes implementation. Class email notifier implement notifier, that is the main interface, and public function send message. So inside that we can write the code for the send email. Another, class send SMS notifier implements notifier. So public function send message and inside that send SMS code. So your main code depends on notifier interface, not an specific classes. So function notify user, notifier, $notifier MSG and $notifier send MSG. This way you can swap email and SMS or add new notifier easily without changing notifier user. So why this is important? Makes code flexible and extendable. easy to maintain and test, promote clean architecture and solid principles. Okay, so this was the question. Another question they asked me, what is the exceptional handling in PHP? Okay, and they asked me what is the try catch and finally. So I said, let's have we have try block, and inside that we have statement 1 2 3. Then we have catch block, and that inside that we have statement 4, and then we have finally, and inside that we have statement 5, and outside we have the statement 6. So case 1, if there is no exception, statement 1 2 3 4 5 6, normal termination. Case 2, if an exception raised at statement 2 and corresponding catch block matched, so statement 1 4 5 6, so that is a normal termination. Case 3, if an exception raised at statement 2 and the corresponding catch block not matched, so statement 1 5, abnormal termination. If an exception raised at statement 4, then it always abnormal, but before abnormal termination, finally block will be executed. If an exception raised at statement 5 or at statement 6, then it is always the abnormal termination. So conclusion, within the try block, if anywhere exception raised, then rest of try block won't be executed, even though we handle that exception. Hence, length of try block should be less as possible, and we have to take only risky code within try block. Second, in addition to try block, there may be a chance of raising an exception inside catch and finally block. Third, if any statement raises an exception which is not part of try block, then it is always abnormal termination. So this was the second question. Another question they asked me, what are the traits? So I said PHP does not support multiple inheritance directly because a class in PHP can inherit from only one parent class. This restriction avoids the complexity and ambiguity of the diamond problem, which can occur in the multiple inheritance scenario. So for example, we have a trait called logger, then public function log message, then echo message. Another trait notifier, public function notify, then echo notifier message. Then we have a class called user. So user logger notifier, public function create username, echo username created, this log created username, this notify name has been added. Then user equal to new user. So user create user Alice. So user Alice created, log created user Alice, notification user Alice has been added. Another question they asked me, what is the magic constant? So first of all, what are the constants? So constants are a powerful tool in PHP to define fixed values that remain consistent throughout your script. Constants are defined using the define function or the const keyword. In PHP, constants are identified or named for the simple values that cannot be changed once they are defined. They are often used to store fixed values that remain the same throughout the execution of the script, such as configuration values. So key characteristics of constants: immutable. Once defined, the value of constant cannot be changed or undefined. Global scope. Constants are automatically global and can be accessed anywhere in the script. Case sensitivity. Constants are case sensitive by default but can be defined as case insensitive. Depreciate at PHP 8.000. Define constant. So constants are defined using the define function or the const function. So using define. So define string name, mixed value, bool, case insensitive, false. Example, define site name my website, echo site name output website, case insensitive, depreciate in 8.0 PHP. Define greeting hello words true, echo greeting output hello words. Second, using const. Introduced in PHP 5.3, const can be used to define constant but only with the scalar values, strings, numbers, booleans. So constant name equal to value. For example, constant site we have some example.com, echo site URL example.com. Difference between define or const. Introduction. PHP 4 and define came in PHP 4 and const came in 5.3. Scope. Global scope only in define, and const can be defined in classes or functions. Allow values any type in PHP 4, that is strings, numbers, array, etc. And in okay, and here in the define only scalar values, case sensitive, case insensitive options in PHP 4, and always case sensitive in 5.3. Usage can be used dynamically, must be used at compile time. Okay. So constant are accessible anywhere in the scripts. Let's say we had defined pi 3.14, so echo pi, so it will output will be the 3.14. Access in classes using const in a class. Let's say we have class my class, const greeting, welcome to my class, echo my class greeting, using define in class, not directly allowed but accessible globally. Let's have defined app version 1.00, echo app version, so output 1.00, so magic constant. Now exactly the interviewer asked me magic constant. So PHP provides several built-in constants that change depending on where they are made or they are used. These are known as magic constants. So magic constant and description, if we have double underscore line in the prefix and in the suffix both, so it will return the current line number, file, full path and file name, dir, directory of the file, function, function name, class name, trait name, method, class method name, namespace, current namespace. So we have to use double underscore in prefix and also in the postfix. Or another example or another definition of the magic constants. A magic constant in PHP is a special built-in constant that automatically gives information about the script, like file name, line number, function name. It starts with double underscores and change its value depending on where it is used. So here is a simple script from scratch that demonstrates the use of the magic constants. So let's say we have a function called display magic constant, and we are echoing function name, and then we are using the magic function, another line number, so line magic function, so file magic function, and dir magic function. So we have used 4 magic function in this code. Then call this function display magic constant. Okay, now see the output. So if I'm using it will return the magic function will return display magic constants. Line will return line number, that is 5. File path, that is file, it will return like c, jamp, htdocs, whatever directory you have, test, neosoft and .php. Directory c, jamp, htdoc, test. So these are the magic function. Another question they asked me, authentication and authorization. So authentication is the process of verifying the identity of a user. It checks who is the user. Steps for authentication. Login. A user provides their credential, username, password. Verification. The system checks if the provided credential match stored credential if in a database or third party authentication service. Token generation, that is optional. Upon successful login, a system may generate a token, that is JWT, to maintain the session or facilitate API names. For example, a user logs in user name and password. The system verifies the credential and grants access if the information is correct. So example in Laravel, auth double colon attempt email password request password. Okay. In the case of authorization, authorization is the process of determining what the user can do after they are authenticated. It controls the permission and access level assigned to the users. So steps for authorization: permission check. After authentication, the system checks if the authenticated user has permission to perform a specific action, that is, view a page, modify a resource, etc. Roles and permission. In many system roles, admin, editor, user define which action are allowed. Permission specify the specific action, that is create, delete, edit, that a user can perform. For example, for the authorization, a user may be authenticated, but they might only be authorized to view their own profile, not other users' profile. A manager role may allow for editing posts, while a guest role may have only allow viewing. Example in Laravel, if auth double colon user can edit post dollar post, so perform the action. So summary for the authentication and authorization. Authentication verify who the user is. Authorization determine what the user can do. Authentication identify login credential. Authorization permission roles ability. Authentication ensures the user is who they claim to be. Authorization ensures the user has the right to access resources or perform actions. Authentication user logging in with the username password, while the authentication authorization user being assigned roles like admin, editor, etc. So practical use: in a typical web app, authentication would occur first, login in, and authorization would follow to ensure that the authentication user has a correct permission to access specific resources. Another question they asked me: what are the hooks in CodeIgniter? So in CodeIgniter 4, hooks are replaced by events. Events in CodeIgniter 4 are triggered action that execute custom code at specific point in application's lifecycle, like before or after a controller runs. They help in logging, authentication, and performance monitoring without modifying core files. So events in CodeIgniter 4 are like triggers that let you run a specific code as precise moment, that is before a page loads, after a user's load, without changing the original code. Think of them as alarm you set to perform tasks automatically when something happens. So simple analogy for the hooks or events: imagine your app is pizza delivery, and event is like saying with the oven time rings, event automatically send a text to the customer your custom code. So example to remember: scenario, show a under maintenance page before any page loads. So define the event triggered before any controller runs. Event double colon pre-controller function. If config app maintenance mode, then redirect to maintenance, that is exit. How hooks works: when someone tries to visit your site, CodeIgniter checks the event before loading any page. If maintenance mode is true, it redirects to the maintenance page. Key trigger points easy to recall: pre-system before the app starts, pre-controller before a page controller loads, post-controller after a page finishes loading. Remember, events do this when that happens. So no hooks in the CodeIgniter 4. For example, inside a code, we have one event project and localhost event demo auth register. Another, we have localhost event demo auth login. Then check in, register a user. So login and checks the log database table, logins, logs, and log file, writable logs. So 8080 when using PHP Spark serve, otherwise registers and login URLs. So conclusion: added authentication, that is register login. Use hooks event to login attempts. Stored login attempts in the database. They asked me what are the helpers and libraries in the CodeIgniter. So I said helpers are ready-made functions to help you perform simple tasks quickly, like creating links, forms, or handling files. So how to use a helpers? So let's have load a helper. Tell CodeIgniter which helper you want to use. So this load helper URL loads the URL helper. Second, user helper function. After loading, just call the helper functions. Example, using base URL from the URL helper. So echo base URL about. So output yourwebsite.com/about. Common helpers example, URL helpers. Helpers create links and manage URLs. This load helper URL and echo base URL home. Form helper helps make you form faster. So this load helper form, echo form open user submit, echo form input username, echo form close. Third one is the text helper. Shorten long texts. This load helper text. So echo word limiter. This is very long sentence 3. So it will show only the 3 words like the this is a and then dot dot dot. Auto loading helpers. To always load a helper automatically, edit application config autoload.php and add the helper's name. So autoloader helper equal to URL form. So that's it. Helper are just tool to make coder faster and easier. How to load helpers? So load a single helper, user load helper in your controller or model. So this load helper URL. Now you can use helper function like this echo URL about. Load multiple helpers. This load helper URL and form. Auto load helpers if you want helpers to always load automatically. Open application configs autoload.php. Find this section autoload helpers and then blank it. Add your helpers. Autoload helpers equal to URL form. This will load the helpers every time the application runs. So helper make your task faster and easier. Okay. How to declare helpers? So steps to create a use a custom helpers. Create a helper files. Navigate to application helpers. Create a new file. For example, my underscore helper.php. Ensure the file name ends with underscores helper.php. So write function in the helper. Inside my helper.php, define your custom functions. If function doesn't exist, greet user. So function greet user. So return hello. So you see first name. Third, load the helper in your controller or model. This load helper my. Now you can use the greet user function like this. Echo greet user John. So output will be the hello John. Autoload the helper optional. Open application config autoload.php. Autoload helper equal to my. Key points. Always use if function doesn't exist function name to avoid conflict. Helpers files should not contain classes, only functions. So inside the helpers we have only functions. And what are the libraries? Definition. Library are object oriented classes and helpers are not. Okay. So libraries are object oriented classes that offer more advanced functionality like session, email, form validation. Nature, these are the object oriented classes. How to load library? This load library session. So load session library. This session set user id name John. Echo this session username name. Example library in CodeIgniter session email pagination form validation. So use when. So you need structured reusable and statement component with properties and methods. So quick comparison table, helpers and libraries. Procedural function, helpers and libraries are object oriented classes. Helpers, functions only, libraries, classes with methods. Helpers, this load helpers. Library, this load library. Helpers, base URL. Libraries, this session user data. Helper simple task. Library complex reusable functionality. Another question they ask me routes. So routes defines how URL maps to control and actions. For example, you have example.com, then controller, then method, then parameter. So example.com products view and 1 2 3. So this maps to controller products method view parameter 1 2 3. Okay. Type of routes: static routes, fixed URL pattern. Routes get home double colon index. So it will match to home controllers index method. Dynamic routes, variable URL pattern with parameter. Routes get product slash colon num. So product double colon details slash $1, that is dynamic parameter number. Custom routes defined using regular expressions, that is routes add product slash 0 to 94 products detail slash $1. So matches 4-digit numbers. Question 9th. They asked me write a query which return last 10th highest salary in MySQL. So I said select distinct salary from employees table, order by salary, disk, limit 9 and 1. So explanation: distinct salary, that means it ensures duplicate salary are not counted multiple times. Order by salary disk, short salaries from highest to lowest. Limit 9 1. What is the meaning of limit 9 1? Skips the top 9 salaries. We have already made it in the descending order, and then we have used the limit 9 1. Okay, so limit 9 skips the top 9 salaries and give the 10th one, that is zero base index. Okay, they ask me INNODB and MyISAM. So here is a simplest breakdown of the MySQL storage engine. INNODB best for application needing transaction data integrity and high concurrency. Key feature: support transaction, reliable data handling, support foreign keys, relationship between tables, users role row level locking, better performance with multiple users are accessing the data, crash recovery to prevent the data loss. Okay, so my ISAM index sequential access method best for older system with the simple and heavy application, read heavy applications. Key feature: no transaction, less reliable for complex operations, no foreign key, no relationship between tables, table level locking, slower if multiple users are accessing data at the same time, obsolete and not commonly used anymore. Heap memory storage engine best for temporarily fast data storage, example for caching or intermediate operations. Key feature: in memory storage extremely fast, data disappears when the server restarts, no persistent, data is lost when the system shut down, ideal for temporary data that doesn't need to be saved. MyISAM best for read heavy applications that don't require transactions. For key feature: no transaction, no guarantee for data consistency, table level locking, slower if many users access the table at once, support full text indexing, useful for searching text, faster for read operation but not ideal for concurrent writes. So summary: INNODB best for application needing transaction and data safety. ISAM old engines, no transaction or relationship, rarely used today. Heap fast temporarily in memory storage for quick performance or operations. MyISAM good for read heavy application but lacks support for transactions. Question 11. Products table and two column product name and category name. They asked me to write a query for that. Okay. Another question is life cycle of code igniter. So answer is index.php is loaded. The starting point of application, it sets up paths and environment settings, routing. The request is passed to the router, which checks the URL and decides which controller to run. Then controller is called. The controller is main handler. It receives the request, talks to the model if needed, and decide what to show. Model optional. If the controller needs to get data from a database, it uses the model. View is loaded. The controller load a view to show the final output like HTML. Response is sent to the browser. The final result from the view is sent back to the user's browser. So simple view is the life cycle. Index.php, then router, then controller, then model is not that much important if we are not using the fetching the data, then view, then browser. Summary: code igniter processes a request starting from index.php, routes it to the correct controller, uses models to fetch data, sends it to the views, and then finally display the result. They ask me get put patch in Postman. So get request. A get request is one of the most commonly used method used to retrieve data from a server via an API, that is application programming interface. When a client like Postman, a browser or a front-end application sends a get request to an API endpoint, it asks it asks the server to return specific resource for information such as user details, product list or settings. Get requests are read only operation and do not modify and data to the server. Post requests. A post request is used to send data to an API to create something new on the server. For example, you use post to add a new user, submit a form or upload a file. Put request. A put request is used to update existing data on the server. It usually replaces the entire resources with new data. Patch request. A patch request is used to partially update existing data on the server. Unlike put, it only changes the specific fields you send. Fifth, delete request. A delete request is used to remove data from the server. It deletes a specific resource like a user or a record permanently. They ask me what is the .htaccess file. So .htaccess file is created in order to enable extra feature for that subdirectories. You can use this .htaccess file to modify various configuration and thus make changes into your website. These changes include authorization, error handling, redirects for specific URLs, user permission, etc. Or htaccess is a configuration file used on Apache web server. It allows you to control the behavior of a website or web directory without changing the main server settings. The file is placed in a specific directory and rules inside applies to that directory and its subdirectory. What can .htaccess do? Redirect URLs like sending old page to new URLs. Rewrite URL, make URL look cleaner or friendlier. Set up custom error page like 404 not found. Control access, password protected folder blocks IPs. Enable or disable features like the gzip compression. Make caching for better performance. So redirect old.php HTML to new page.html. Redirect 301 old page.html to new page.html. So custom 404 error page, error document 404 slash 404.html. Why is .htaccess useful? You can change website setting easily without needing to edit the server configuration or restart the server. It gives more control to the website owners or developer on shared hosting where server access is limited. So this was a .htaccess file. So they asked me what is indexes in MySQL. So an index in MySQL is a database structure that improves the speed of data retrieval operation on a table at the cost of the additional storage and maintenance overhead. It works similarly to the index of a book, allowing MySQL to find rows much faster without scanning the entire table. So types of index in MySQL: primary key index, unique identifier for each row, automatically created when you defined a primary key. So create table users id into primary key, name varchar. Second, unique index ensures all value in a column are unique. Create unique index idx email on user user's email. Third, regular non-unique index speeds up query for columns with duplicate values. Create index idx name on user's name. Full text index for full text searches in large text field char varchar text, only supported on INNODB or MyISAM. Create full text index IDX description on articles description. Fifth, composite index index based on multiple columns. Create index IDX name email on user's name email. Spatial index, this is sixth one, used for geospatial data. How to use indexes? Create an index. Create index IDX column on table name column name. Drop an index. Drop index IDX column on table name. View existing index. Show index from table name. Benefit of using index: faster data retrieval, improved performance of select, join and where queries. Limitations: slower insert, update and delete operations, increased storage requirement. So these are the cons. So how many index can be built if we have 16 fields? So generally limits for MySQL IN on ODB. Maximum number of indexes per table is 64. Maximum number of column in a composite index, that is 16 column. So maximum key length is 3072 bytes per for INNODB. Index scenario for 16 fields. Given 16 field, the theoretical combinations are: single column index, you can create 16 unique single column index. Composite indexes, you can combine up to 16 columns in each index but are still limited to the 64 total indexes. Example: index combination. Single column index, create index idx field on table name field 1, create index idx field 2 on table 2 or table name field 2. This gives 16 simple index. So composite index example: create index IDX composite on table name field 1 field 2. Create index IDX composite on table name field 3 field 4. Here is how to create a table with 16 fields and index in MySQL. So create the table. Create table example table field 1 int, field 2 int, field 3 field 4 field 5 field 6 up to field 16. Okay, so this is a table which has 16 columns. Then create 16 single column index. So create index idx field 1 on example underscore table field 1, then field 2 field 3 field 4 field 5 up to field 16. Okay, so they asked me what are the triggers. So a trigger is a code associated with insert, update and delete operations, that is IUD. Triggers: a trigger is a stored procedure in database which automatically invoke whenever a specific event in the database occurs. For example, a trigger can be invoked when a row is inserted into a specific table or when certain table columns are being updated. When we use triggered, a trigger is a code associated with, already I told you, IUD, insert, update, delete operation. Okay, and these are the stored procedure. For example, okay, I have already told that a trigger can be invoked when a row is inserted into a specific table when certain table columns are being updated. Okay, so let's create A very simple example to demonstrate how a MySQL trigger works. We'll create two tables, users and user log. So users a table to store user data, user log a table to log any update made in the users table. Step 1, create a table users and users table, and put some um, columns like the id, username, user id, username and email. Another table, create user log, and then put log id, that is the primary key, user id, old email, new email and update. The users table store user id, username and email, and the user log table stores logs